We have a angry mother whose child had a very inappropriate interaction with a known YouTuber.
He doesn't even deny she's 16. I mean, there was even some evidence to suggest that she was younger than that.
A lot of young fans started claiming Austin was asking them for twerking videos in private messages.
The clusterfuck featured Jerica, a 14-year-old girl who Kiwi sent pictures of his dick to, and her mother.
That was the point where he was like, how about you maybe twerk for me and send me a video?
So, a question that I've been asked a lot as of recent is, why the fuck are so many public figures pedophiles? You know, we've got Lion Maker, Zoe Laverne, Austin Jones, and now recently James Charles and EDP445, who've all been proven to be in relationships with people as young as 13. In this segment, we're going to talk about these three individuals, so let's just start with Lion Maker. Lion Maker was a Minecraft YouTuber who was in a relationship with Paige the Panda, whose age is kinda confusing. According to famous birthdays, she would be 15 in 2015, which is when her and Lion Maker's relationship started. But according to the interview Keemstar had with the alleged mom, it says that Paige was 13.
Now, how old is your daughter, Susie?
She's 13 years old.
She's 13.
Nevertheless, she's at least a decade younger than Lion Maker, and also underage. And like I mentioned, Keemstar was interviewing Paige the Panda's mom, who then talked about how Lion Maker was asking for nudes from Paige the Panda.
So he jumped back to whatever the other one's called, Twitter.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then he asked her to send nudes.
Lion Maker ended up tweeting her nudes before denying the allegation and saying that he was hacked. Lion Maker also made a video where he said that everyone who was accusing him of being a pedophile are just a bunch of manipulators, which he ironically criticized Colossus Crazy for doing to Lion Maker.
When it comes down to it, guys, you guys are being manipulated, and you're being manipulated by one of the biggest manipulators in the YouTube community. You've been generous enough, and I really do not want it, but you've been kind enough to label me the king of manipulators. And when you do that, Colossal, there's absolutely nothing I can do or nothing I can say that's not going to be like, well, you know, he is a manipulator. So if he's swaying me, if he's changing my mind, it's simply because he's a manipulator, and that's what he does. You're being manipulated by one of the biggest manipulators.
Lion Maker apparently went to prison as well.
Did he end up going to jail?
He did.
What year? December
2016 till October, till end of September, beginning of October 2017. The charges were rape, sexual assault, manufacturing child pornography, and distributing child pornography. So he didn't dispute any of the charges, which my lawyer was actually quite surprised at, because the kind of person he is, she expected him to like plead innocent. But obviously that didn't happen.
Lion Maker then got terminated on January 20th, 2018, and then he later made a return in late 2020, where he made live streams where he victimizes Paige, even though everyone knows that she is the victim.
She has never ever sent me nude pictures. It paints a picture of her that is not her. She was not that girl. She would never send nude pictures. Like, I can't stress this enough. The fact that he says that the way he does is insulting to her. It's insulting to her character, and that's not fair.
His channel later got terminated again, and it doesn't seem like he will return anytime soon, at least not under the name Lion Maker. However, if he does eventually return, I think a lot of his fans will still support him. You see, the thing about most of Lion Maker's responses are just him crying without much context. His child audience barely knows what he even did, and all they see is their idol crying, and they feel sympathetic towards him.
Everyone should look. Here's some comments. Everyone should look to the future and leave the past. Specifically, for the people that threaten and insult Lion Maker, the people that mentally harm others are the ones that do the most damage. This is in defense of a pedophile. I know I'm late. I hope things get better, Lion. Know that your true fans always love and care. Holy shit, dude. This is like an entire rabbit hole of like children that have been like...
Children who
what
are like,
the
I
hell?
love him. I wish he was a pedo to me. Like,
oh, this is disgusting.
Bro. He was also in a podcast titled Life of a YouTuber, which ironically enough was made 3 months after he was terminated. And in that podcast, he never mentions the allegations or anything like that. He just acts like he's still doing YouTube. But after that podcast, from what I've seen, he has completely left the internet. I don't know if this is for legal reasons or just that he just wants to improve himself as a person and therefore wants to distance himself from, I guess, his brand. And I'm not even sure if he'll ever return. But I think the Belgian government is keeping an eye on him, so I highly doubt that he'll ever get in a new relationship with a minor anytime soon. Minilad and Lionmaker's case is actually not too different. Lionmaker is a kids channel that made friends with his fans, which later developed into a relationship. And from what I could understand, it's very similar with Minilad. Minilad was, during the summer of 2020, accused of being a pedophile and manipulating two individuals named Hallie and Ash. Minilad claims in his response video that he's going to be as transparent as possible.
I want to be as transparent as possible.
But yet he never fucking mentions what he did. You can even see this in the comment section. This is to downplay the situation and only showing publicly that this unknown situation ruined his life and his career. And now he needs your sympathy so he can go back to his normal life, like if nothing ever happened. And due to these messages, I highly doubt his channel will ever go back to normal. He's lost more than 10% of his subscribers and I doubt he'll ever get them back. EDP's case is a bit more chaotic than the previous ones. EDP was messaged by what he thought was a
13-year-old,
but in fact was the infamous Predator poachers. Now, the issue with Predator poacher Chet Goldstein is that he had a bit of a not so good past. Not only that, but they were also hurting their own case by uploading all of their evidence of EDP being a pedophile to YouTube before taking it to the police or court. Right, so editing Mikkel here, you can actually see Chet call the police right here. However, I still stand by what I said, because when you upload the evidence before or during a court case, you're still hurting your case, because then the court and the police will look at your evidence way more critically. So it would be way better if they just went directly to the police and that they handle the situation before they upload this, and until it is confirmed that EDP will get a punishment for this, instead of doing it while there's a court case. Because from what I've seen now, it's unsure if EDP will be punished or not. And that's the issue. That's what happens when you publicize this kind of evidence before or during a court case. Anyways, back to the video. You can't be a judge in your own case, and this is why people like Onision probably won't be punished for their actions. This is also one of the reasons To Catch a Predator isn't around anymore. Yes, Hansen had the police on his side, but he never gave the alleged pedophiles that he exposed a chance to defend themselves. And he acted like a judge in his own case, causing some of them to even take their own life.
The entertainment industry cannot act as police, judge, jury, executioner, and for a corporation like NBC, ratings and money matter.
Now, to conclude this, I think the reason that there are so many YouTubers being exposed as pedophiles is because they know that minors are easy to manipulate. And you can see this with, for instance, Austin Jones and Minilad using either their title as a celebrity or their mental health to make a minor do as they say. Except EDP, he was just straight up creepy. That's pretty much all I had to say. I'm sorry if this feels rushed, but I've delayed this video for too long. So, back to you, Printer.